All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is Katie Popwell speaking. I'm one of the career advisors here at Nova Southeastern University. I am going to be discussing today a webinar on job and internship search. So one of the first key elements of starting your job and internship is to know yourself. So better have an idea of your passions, interests as it may relate to the position that you're applying for or that you may be seeking. Do an inventory check. So identifying those strengths, skills, and weaknesses are key. Understanding the nature of the work and the fit for the position is also critical. As far as knowledge base goes, so these are hard skills and or academic projects that you may have worked on here in class that may also relate to the position. And generally speaking, students should be planning about a semester in advance when it comes to job and internship search. So as far as a job internship, as we had discussed, preparing for your search is really critical. So identifying your key resources such as the career and internship expos. We do hold a networking after class event about once a month. LinkedIn, Handshake, and then there's also some other job search platforms that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later on. Knowing your skill set. So again, identifying those strengths and deciding on what culture and environment that you want to work in. So whether that is, private or public or a nonprofit. Also being able to schedule an informational interview. So gathering key information about the occupation, developing those key relationships with personnel at that organization. I think also by creating an Excel spreadsheet, by listing all the internships and or jobs that you've applied to, this can kind of keep you on task when it comes to being able to go back and see who you've been able to speak with regarding that particular internship or position. Moving forward, we have networking through events. So some of you may have known or have maybe have attended some of these. We do have like the Career and Internship Expo, some of the networking after class, as I mentioned before, but this is all through networking. So networking is an exchange of information or services among individuals, groups, or individual institutions. So this is a mutual exchange of information, which is also known as a referral system. And about 80% of the jobs that we find are actually found through networking. So meeting others through these events can potentially lead to a full-time opportunity or an internship opportunity, also known as the hidden job market. Some of the other ones we've discussed briefly was the informational interviews, as well as local or national networking events. And some of the other networking that you may find are through clubs and organizations. So these are other opportunities to get out there and engage with others. You can learn to work as a team, using the skills learned in class and being able to learn on how to engage with a diverse group of people. You can also find a lot of national groups in your industry. For example, mine is a part of my student affairs program. We have NASPA, which is the National Association of Student Affairs. So you may find some of those national groups in your industry. And below I have uploaded a link for orgsync.com. That is actually where you're going to find all of the key clubs and organizations that Nova Southeastern has to offer. Moving forward, we have LinkedIn, which is one of the biggest networking tools that many of us students and faculty use to communicate and connect with experts in the field. And again, like I had mentioned before, 80% of the jobs and internships that are found through word of mouth and by being at the right place and at the right time is often through networking. And over to the right, I have included a screenshot based on when you guys get into LinkedIn. Hopefully many of you have an account with LinkedIn. Once you've built a profile up, if you click on the jobs tab right under here, you will find that if you go under experience level, you can then click on full-time. I just clicked on entry level for time being. and then you will find different positions that may align with what you're looking for based on the criteria that you've entered in the search boxes. So again, this is LinkedIn. If you have any questions about it, maybe hold them towards the end. As far as Lynda goes, this is actually a great website. It's an online education company that offers thousands of videos, courses within software, creative, and business skills. So some may have not had previous knowledge in a certain area, but by going to this website, you can actually get certified in a certain software, such as Adobe or Java. Some of you may have been working with QuickBooks, so on and so forth. Again, this is lynda.com. It is free for students. You can just click on the link below, or you can also find it through LinkedIn. As many of you are aware, we have all joined this event through Handshake. Handshake is that career one-stop shop for jobs and internships. So here you can explore your majors, careers, different resources. This is also where you, again, sign up for workshops and events that may be taking place. This is also a time where you can connect with those employers and find the job and internship opportunities. Similar to that of LinkedIn, this is where right here on the far left, I have took a little screenshot and I have created a job search by clicking up here on the Jobs tab. And then when you get down to this little first box, you're going to actually plug in maybe a couple keywords that you're looking for related to the position. Down below is where you're going to enter your location. So this is where you might type in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or a metropolitan city that you may be close to. Down below, this is where you can click on job type. So if you're not looking for a job per se, but this is where you can then again switch it to an internship. And then the last little piece of advice is to maybe make sure that you're clicking on either full-time or part-time. So again, this is again how you would then search for a job. And over here on the far right is where you, once you've created your Handshake profile, you will be asked to go up here to the Career Center, and then you click on Resources, and this will eventually take you to this landing page where you will find resume mock samples along with cover letter samples, so on and so forth. So if you are in need of any of those, that's where you will find them. Following right underneath here at the very bottom, we have any upcoming events. So when you log on to Handshake, and you do that by going to www.nova.career or /career, click up here on events, and then this will take you to the next landing page where you will find any upcoming events that you may be interested in attending. And if you are, you can always click on View Event. This will give you a lot of different details based on what the event's going to entail and maybe some prepping steps for that. Additional job sites. So these are different opportunities for you to kind of go out there and find these opportunities, whether it's a full-time or a part-time position. But Indeed, Glassdoor.com, many of you have probably heard of that one. That's a really great resource. We also have Simply Hired, Snag a Job, ZipRecruiter, Internships.com, which you can also utilize when looking for an internship. We have national state organizations, for example, the CIA, which has recently visited us here on campus. And we have the targeted search, which is, you know, in case you can't find a particular position that you're looking for, it's better, you're better off visiting the actual company website and viewing what career opportunities that may not be listed otherwise on, for example, on Indeed.com. So be on the look for that. And then the next step, we have case competition. So I'm assuming many of you may have at least heard of a case competition. Recently, we had the Yellow Cab case competition, and you may be thinking, what is a case competition? It starts with the presentation of a problem, fictitious or real, from an employer or a campus partner. This means it's usually presented as a short story or a case with accompanying data to illustrate key aspects of the situation. And this can either be as an individual or a team group, based on how to identify and solve the problem, presenting the solution to a panel of judges who evaluate the problem, the analysis, and the effectiveness of the presentation. So again, Yellow Cab was an example that I used for this. And the benefit of participating in a case study is the fact that you get a really nice set of like application of different skills that you can use, and that are transferable into another role or a job per se. And this is also a great resume builder and a talking point in an interview. And again, this can also be a potential leading to a full-time position. Evaluating the job market is huge right now. So number one, be proactive. Go out and search for that particular position that you're wanting. Create that Handshake and LinkedIn profile, and start connecting and networking with others. Schedule informational interviews. So if you have a LinkedIn profile, reach out to some of these people that are in the field and start to understand, hey, like, can I maybe meet with you for 10 or 15 minutes to kind of pick your brain about the industry? This will allow them to, one, be able to network with you, and maybe to meet and discuss those potential opportunities. Next is to visit the glassdoor.com, as I had mentioned earlier in this webinar. You will then find here interview questions, so maybe what has previously come up for prior interviewees, and then you can also see what others are saying about the company, whether that's the environment or the pros and the cons of working for that company, so on and so forth. Another great couple different websites for the salary per se is to visit salary.com, or we also have nisalary.com to get a better insight on, based on your experience, your educational location, you can put all this information in. It's through a filtered system. And then by that way, you can plan ahead when you're looking into the job market. Basic tips and tricks on a resume. So you might be thinking, how do I format, and what content specifically goes on a resume? When you first open that Word document, you're going to set your margins at 0.5 so that you're utilizing all of the text on the document itself. Your name in particular is going to be between an 18 to a 20 size point font, and your resume is going to be, the rest of the document itself will be in that 10 to 11 size point font. The entire document should be in Times New Roman, and refrain from using any objective and your references page, as those will be on a separate page on their own. And be sure to include every bullet point with a strong action verb. Do's and don'ts on a resume. So this is really huge. So a couple of the do's that you definitely want to make sure that you have is making your name stand out, like I had mentioned before, making that name really pop to the employer. They get a lot of resumes across their desk each day, so make sure that we have that set at an 18 to a 20 size point font, utilizing strong action verbs to elaborate on not only what you did in the position or the experience, but they want to see those quantifiable results and outcomes through your bullet points. So definitely include those. Some of the things that you don't want to include on the resume would be your marital status, your age, your religion, or hobbies. These are all things that can be, especially for the hobbies part, can be emphasized in the interview. And list any of the hard skills within your key skills section unless you know the material. So for example, if you know Excel and know how to make pivot tables, that would be a hard skill that you could enlist under that key skills section. Just know that anything is fair game for the interviewer to ask you regarding what you have put on your resume. Refrain from also putting periods at the end of your bullet points, and refrain from also using a resume template. And many of you I know are students, so adding class projects to your resume is a huge resume builder. So for example, if someone is in marketing, they may want to say that they've made a marketing plan, so that by creating a marketing plan for a company, that in itself looks really good when you're looking and applying for a marketing position. Collaborating as a team, as you all know, we have a lot of those within work and or school. So that's vital if you are able to collaborate as a team. Again, expanding on what you did and learned as a result or an outcome regarding that class project is really huge. Including those quantifiable measurements. Again, so have you, we really want to see some number crunching when it comes to these class projects. This basically will give you an experience and a knowledge base for many of you that may be international students that maybe haven't worked or had the opportunity to have that part-time position right now. This will be able to give you that space where you can elaborate on other things that you've done throughout your academic career. Again, this is a great talking point in an interview. The basics of a cover letter. So essentially, the cover letter is called what's called a pre-interview. It has the same basics and formatting as a resume does. So you're going to set your margins at 0.5, the entire document. Your font size will be around a 10 to 11 size font for the entire document. You will also be using the Times New Roman, following the same thing as a resume. But explain how you heard about the job and why you're excited to work for this organization. Is it their core values that align with what you're looking for? Or is it a very diverse environment? Those sorts of things. Just make sure that A, you're a good fit for them and they're a good fit for you. And like I said, again, by adding a piece of the company, it really shows that you've done your homework. It shows that you've, went out and you've researched the company and you have found that niche. And over on the right side, this is kind of just like a little kind of side note on what the different basics are in a cover letter. So expressing your interests and qualifications, remain personal but also professional. Tailor it to that position and or company. So we're not going to have just one cover letter that's going to be sent out to a multitude of different people. Let's ensure that we're using that particular cover letter and resume for that particular position. And figure out a way to say how you fit within the organization and how you will help them. So what are you bringing to the table? Expand on the main points from your resume. So this kind of goes back to saying, you can't include everything that you want on your resume. So maybe giving me some bigger highlights of things that I, as an employer, would want to know. So selling yourself and selling your qualifications to the prospective employer is what we would like to have in a cover letter. And it's interview time. So interview etiquette. So we always say be on time, but we all know that be on time means to be 15 minutes early. So be sure to arrive on time, turn off your cell phone, and be positive and honest throughout your experience at this organization or company that you have an interview with. During the interview and even before, make sure that you're maintaining that eye contact with either the front desk staff or the interviewer or interviewees that you may be interviewing with. Being able to lean forward, and again, having a strong and firm handshake really goes a long way. It shows that you come prepared and that you're confident going into this interview, and most importantly, dress appropriately. Body language. So the importance of body language in interviews. So again, first impression is usually identified within the first 7 seconds of greeting that employer. So, and approximately 93% of our communication is nonverbal. So just be sure to have a proper posture, stand tall. Don't slouch when you're in the interview or when you're meeting with the interviewer, because body language essentially plays a really important role in an interview. And then some of the common nonverbal mistakes that we make, not making eye contact, not knowing enough about the company, a weak handshake. So make sure, if you want to practice with someone, trying to get that down and make sure that, you're ready it's really key. Moving forward, we have some of the pre-interview or before the interview checklist steps. So what I like to say is come up with like 3 good questions to ask the employer. Of course, you're going to ask these more towards the end of the interview when the employer then asks, hey, do you have any questions for me? Prepare what you're going to wear. So knowing the difference between, the business casual, business professional, and taking note of what the employer wants you to wear, or kind of letting yourself know what environment am I walking into is a good idea. Get a good night's rest. Be sure to eat breakfast, as this is the most important meal of the day. Always give yourself enough time, again, to get there, greet the staff, use the bathroom, so on and so forth. Do your research and homework on the company and on the person or individuals who may be interviewing you. This will be something they will remember. You want to make yourself a memorable candidate. And again, on the far right side, what are the logistics? So knowing this ahead of time will save you a lot of kind of anxiety. Knowing all these logistics, like the time, the place, all that good stuff. Can you explain what the company does and what your role would be? So diving into the job description and tying it back to how you would be a good fit for the organization is crucial. And then do you have a grasp on the company culture? Can you answer common interview questions? So again, going back and identifying certain questions that may be asked in a given interview is really important. And do you have your materials? Do you have your resume, a portfolio, maybe with a notepad, pens, and maybe a water? During the interview, this is where you again will make that eye contact. Leaning forward to the interview will show your interest into not only the employer, but to what it is that they're communicating to you. And also, again, be sure to ask the interviewer questions. You are also interviewing them too. So don't always feel like they're just here to interview me. After the interview, you're wanting to follow up. Thank the employer for their time and consideration by shaking their hand firmly. This is where you can also ask for their business card. So afterwards, you can email the hiring manager. This is where, again, you will write a thank you, short and concise thank you letter to either the hiring manager or a hiring committee who has interviewed you. I just want to emphasize that we do have career labs. So this is a new initiative that we're taking on in the office. It's on Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 to 1. This is where you can come in and work with a career advisor as well as a peer advisor and work on any of the following. So whether it's a resume, a cover letter, maybe it's a job and internship search, interview prep step, and or you can work on your Handshake and LinkedIn profiles. We're located in the Horvitz building in room 152. It's in the career library. But for some of those who may be at a regional campus or not close by, we also do have Skype and phone appointments. So you're more than welcome to call the front desk to schedule an appointment. And here is the contact information in order to make an appointment. So again, we do have drop-in advising. Just note that we will be having a holiday drop-in starting on December 18th on, I think it's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 11 to 1. But moving forward in the winter semester, the hours are going to remain the same for our career labs. But I'm going to open the chat for any people who may have dropped a line and see if I can answer any questions. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, is it possible to email if we can't make it down there for an appointment? I know you said we could do a Skype appointment. What about just emailing our resume? Is it possible to have that like critiqued? Maybe make some notes on it.
I think it would be best if you were to call the front desk and schedule a phone appointment. I just think it's going to be really, especially if it's over the phone, I think it'd be best if we both had it open up on our end. So if I had the resume open and you have the resume open on your end on your computer, I think that's the best way we could go about like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I meant too, is also following up on the phone, but like just email it beforehand then.
Yeah, no, definitely email beforehand is really, yeah, that would be great. And then
Okay.
a phone appointment would essentially be an hour. But you can also call in on the times that are drop-in, which again are only going to be a 15-minute appointment as opposed to an hour.
Okay, perfect.
Anyone else? Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, you know, you guys can always email me. And again, we're gonna have another webinar tomorrow. So if you guys are signed up for that, or if not, I would suggest you guys, you know, sign up for that one too, as it's going to be on a little bit of a different topic. However, I will not be doing it. Just so if you guys are interested, check it out. But if you guys don't have any further questions, I hope you all have a great day. And again, let me know if I can be of any assistance. Okay? Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I will be sending you guys out this PowerPoint as well. I received a chat from someone, so that can definitely be done. That's not a problem. You're welcome. Anyone else before I head out? All right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Have a great day.